guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about biohacking, transhumanism, a weird topic. Now, we've all seen futuristic type movies where people have like chips in their head or something like that. And to be honest, I didn't know that it was a real thing. I'd heard of things here and there of people modifying their bodies in a significant technological way like that, but I didn't know that there was a whole community, let alone a formal kind of heading and name. There is. The more I know, the more I'm kind of amazed in one way, but also very concerned because some of it is just very sketchy. Okay, so I found this article called Body Hackers, Bold, Inspiring, and Terrifying, which kind of summarizes how I feel about it. The reason I even was made aware of this was because I was sent a link to an actual convention for body hackers. The name body hacking just kind of scares me because, you know, the kind of implication when you get hacked is that it's not your choice to get hacked, it happens to you. So when I first heard of it, I was like, that sounds terrifying, like someone's gonna take your body from you in some way. So before we get into it, let's talk about what body hacking actually is. It's defined as actively changing one's body or mind to better reflect a person's belief of what their ideal self should be. This can range from meditation or cosmetic surgery to placing radio transmitting tags beneath the skin or taking brain-altering drugs. In theory, weightlifting, Pilates, and even wearing a fitness tracker counts, but the term is more commonly associated with more unusual efforts. That's one of the things that I've found. The more I researched this, the more the definition seemed to become vague, because I looked it up on YouTube, and then some people were like, body hacking for 30 days, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, what does that even mean? And it was like working out in a specific type of way, taking supplements, and I was like, okay, so technically I body hack 3 times a week by going to the gym? The more I've researched, the more I've found that some people also, as referred to here, use brain-altering drugs. So I saw a couple of posts of people who were claiming that they were using LSD and cocaine as a way to improve themselves.
Science is a liar sometimes.
Oh boy.
I've not done LSD. The other one I have, and it's not self-improvement. I don't care what. No, okay, it's not self-improvement. Ask anyone who works on Wall Street.
Well, somebody's chipper this morning.
Oh, you guys are there all this time? I didn't see you.
So let's talk about the people who are doing something a little bit more extreme than taking a supplement and going to the gym. So here we have examples. Jessica Fox has permanently purple eyeballs and an elf-like ear. Her husband has a pair of horns under his skin. So a part of this community that is very strange to me is that some of this is just aesthetic, which when I hear body hacking, I don't think of a purely aesthetic change. I think of something that has some kind of utilitarian pursuit, if that makes sense. You guys can let me know what comes to mind when you just hear the term body hacking. Stellark, a 72-year-old Australian, has an ear on his arm. Soon he hopes to attach a small microphone to it so people can, via the internet, listen to whatever it hears. See, now, this is where it becomes a little bit scary for me. Like, I don't know if I'd be scared or if I'd laugh if I saw an ear on someone's arm that they chose to place there so the internet can hear what they're hearing, which in itself is a little bit of a weird concept considering live streaming exists. Hold on for this one. Meow Ludo Disco Gamma Meow Meow, yes, that's his legal name, has the chip from his Sydney travel card implanted into his hand. All of this sounds a little bit strange, right? But there are some people who have actually improved themselves in a utilitarian way in the sense that they're actually getting something out of it apart from changing their appearance. So this is one of the cooler sides of this. There's this person called Dana Lewis, and essentially she's a type 1 diabetic and she has to administer insulin whenever her blood sugar levels demand it. To make that easier, she's made her own pancreas. So she says that it's a small computer with a radio. It reads data from my insulin pump, my glucose monitor does the math for me, and actually sends me a command back to the insulin pump to automate my insulin delivery. Miss Lewis is perhaps the best advert for the good side of the body hacking community. A person who created a device when traditional medical channels failed her. So this is one one really cool aspect. The medical field has a very cool side, or the medical body hacking has a very cool side. The flip side of that is that people who should not ever be close to anything of medical unless they're going to therapy or something, some of those people are also in this community, which makes it very hard to tell what's a legitimate helpful creation compared to something that's going to turn you into the creature from Frankenstein.
What is the point of this stupid dumbass experiment anyway?
Yeah, like, was he smart or not? I don't even get it.
I don't think so. Was I smart, sir?
No, again, if you could let us finish the lecture and...
You stupid science bitches couldn't even make my friends more smarter.
Hey, you're right. Stupid science bitch couldn't even make I more smarter.
So a more controversial example is this guy called Aaron Treywick's Ascendance Biomedical. This guy, Mr. Treywick, claims that his drugs can cure HIV, AIDS, and herpes. He says he suffers from the latter, so herpes. Indeed, at the event, he performed a stunt on stage whereby he injected his own product into his leg, or at least tried to. There was some confusion about what exactly had transpired. You know, it was a real shit show if even the article talking about it is like,
dude, I don't fucking know what was going on.
Mr. Treywick skirts the law by self-medicating and encourages others to do the same. Officially, he calls his product a research compound, but in conversation, often slips up and refers to it as a treatment, a claim that could see him in choppy waters with the US Food and Drug Administration, the notoriously strict regulator. The FDA calls companies like his dangerous, but when asked by the BBC, it would not say whether it was monitoring Mr. Treywick's activities. In November, Ascendance Biomedical made headlines when a 28-year-old man injected himself with its HIV research compound. Mr. Treywick told me he now plans to take his work to Venezuela. The best we can do is we can say to these people, we know you don't have access to this medication. They don't have any other options, he added, as if it was an accepted rationale for using an unregulated drug that was tested on only one person. People like Treywick are the reason that body hacking scares the shit out of me, because I genuinely feel like those people who Google hours upon hours of medical information and suddenly think they have a degree, and then they make something which is like a treatment or cure, and then they just run wild with it because they have certain people in the community who are amping them up. Of course, there are always going to be level-headed people who say, hey, don't call this a treatment, don't call this a cure if you've only tested it on yourself. But nonetheless, I feel like communities like this always have a terrible, terrible dark side that often outweighs the good, in my humble opinion. Also, because I feel like most level-headed people, like Dana Lewis, if you're level-headed, you're willing to see that there are a lot of things that can go wrong with your invention. And if you see that there are a lot of things that can go wrong with your invention, you're not very likely to shove it down everyone's throat because you don't want, you know, someone's medical issues or someone's death on your hands, of course. So I feel like the bad outweighs the good in the sense that the people who are aware of the downfalls won't scream at everyone, oh, this will change your life, whatever. Whereas the people who are deluded enough to think they've created a drug that cures HIV, AIDS, and so forth, and that's only been tested on one person, will probably scream and tell everyone that, you know, it's life-changing. So the article also mentions that there is a body hacking convention, Body Hacking Con, and over the past 3 years, the event has become something of a pilgrimage for those involved in the biohacking scene. A broad spectrum of technologists, transhumanists, and performance artists. I keep going back and forth with this because I genuinely feel like there could be a lot of like brilliant people in here, but the idea that this is unregulated scares the shit out of me, because there are people like Treywick who create these compounds and give themselves a fancy name, like, what was it? Ascendance Biomedical, when they really have no business doing anything of bio or medical. I just hope that the laws kind of catch up to this, because the idea that people can just do whatever and insert whatever under other people's skin and claim to have cures to things is honestly not only terrifying, but honestly so dangerous.
Fascinating results. The most measurable effect was a sharp uptick in arrogance.
The subject was perfectly ready to believe he'd learned Mandarin in 2 days.
我听是，把有什么就我出来教就负责。
Again, This is complete gibberish.
Anyways, guys, I thought that was an interesting thing to talk about since I genuinely never heard of this as like an entire community, especially since the definition is so kind of vague and can fit pretty much anyone. Let me know what you think about all of this down in the comments, if you had already heard about this or not. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and let's get right into the fan art.